What is up, lads and lass? Welcome back to the channel. I know I haven't posted in a while, but stuff is heating up. Stuff is cooking right now. So this is going to be the first episode in the new little Road to series I'm going to be doing on the channel, which can be Road to 300 kilos. For those of you who don't know, because I won Africa's Strongest Man under 80 kilos last year, it means I qualified for Worlds in November. For those, a lot of you will know who Rhino Nell is. He's now the new World's Strongest Man for the heavyweights. He's also from South Africa. But we, the lightweight competitors, we have our World's Strongest Man towards the end of the year in November. So, in order to win that competition, there's a few things I have to do. One of them is I have to get my pull over 300 kilos. My best deadlift to this date, I'll throw it up here, 272 kilos. And I think a 300 is possible, and I've done a few things to do that. So I'm going to catch you guys up on what I've been doing the last few weeks, and hopefully that will help give some perspective and some lead into the next episode of this when I post that. This will probably be weekly, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on how training is going, but I'll make sure to keep you guys up to date with that. So I decided to make the hard choice. And for the first time in my life, I actually hired a coach. And I did that for a few reasons. I had to move recently. I had some family emergencies that basically required I move across the country, and that's been keeping me very busy, which means I don't really have the time to stick the brain power into programming and doing that properly. I needed someone else to say, okay, this is what you're doing today. This is the weight jumps you do. When something doesn't work, this is what we do instead. I wanted to offboard that decision making to someone else. The second reason is because for the first time in my life, I actually want to focus on being the athlete first and not being the coach. And in order to do that, you can't be both. The third reason is because I love programming and tweaking and fiddling with things, have a nasty habit, like a lot of you also probably do, of constantly wanting to make adjustments because, oh, I want to try this, and I want to try that, and I want to try this, instead of just sticking to something that works over and over repeatedly. The last reason is because this is the biggest competition I've ever done. It's World's Strongest Man under 80 kilos, and I need all the help I can get, especially in regards to me being able to be the athlete and not the coach, and offboarding that decision making to someone else where I can just put it out of my mind, not worry about it too much, and just go ahead. So what have we been doing? So what I've been doing with Hank, my new coach, is he took a look at my deadlift the first time I was there, and I told him, look, I pulled a 272, I need to get over 300. Can that happen? He took one look, and at the end of the session he went, yeah, we can make it happen. And I said, well, what do you think the problem is? Because I'm weak off the floor. I never have lockout issues. So except for the 272 I did, but it's because I started off pulling ground back. So I've never had an issue at lockout in a deadlift, except for that one occasion. I'm always just weak off the floor. If it breaks off the floor, I can finish it. If it sticks on the floor, it sticks. And he said, so I said, okay, so what are we doing? Are we doing deficits? Are we doing pause deadlifts? Are we doing, what are we doing? He said, no, that's not the problem. The problem is your mid-back. Your mid-back is weak as shit. And I said, what? So what are we doing? And he says, no, we're not going to do deficits. We're going to do block pulls, like 16-inch height. And at first I thought in my head, okay, this sounds a little counterintuitive, but okay, I'm just going to trust it. And guys have been doing it for 3 weeks now, and it's been working. It's been working really well. I've noticed a few things. One is, if you look at my old deadlifts, when I set up with my back, there's a very noticeable difference in muscle mass between my lower and my mid back. My erectors and my lower back are like thick and meaty and very pronounced. It almost looks like my lower back is round even when it's not, because there's two slabs of beef that run next to my spine. That's not the same for my mid back. My mid back like almost disappears and then it goes into my upper back. So he was definitely right in terms of a muscle mass problem. But what I'll show you guys here is the sets that we've basically been doing of these pulls. We've just been kind of slowly, progressively overloading it each week, you know, adding 5 to 10 kilos and subtle changes in the set and rep scheme. But these have really helped. And I pulled a 230 beltless the other day. I'll put that up here. That was really smooth, and I mean it was a tough one because beltless belt makes a big difference. And then obviously throwing on the suit can make a big difference too, and I'm not in shape to my regular extent yet. But if you look at that, it looks much better, and you can actually tell how much the mid-back work has helped, because now I'm actually breaking it off the floor pretty substantially, then kind of sticking and then going. So it's definitely moving my sticking point up, which to me is better, because if I have a sticking point at lockout, it's strongman. I can always just hitch if I need to. Where you don't want to stick is off the floor, especially when you get to wear a suit. So to me, it's definitely making a big difference. On top of that, on my lower body days, I'll throw in here, I've been hitting front squats, as you know, but obviously for legs, but front squats, I've also found a pretty good deadlift accessory. Same thing with me, a lot of mid-back tension you have to keep. I'm doing them ollie lifter style instead of, bodybuilding style, because I just find I have to focus a lot more on keeping my mid-back really tight and upright. I am not going completely ATG, because I still have a slight knee tingle, and that last little bit of the end of range of motion really aggravates it. So I'm just going, pelting depth below parallel and then coming back up again. And that's basically what I've been gunning through so far. I hit last week on that after a good, again, I've been back for about 3 weeks. I think maybe this is week 4 now. I hit a 145 single and then some back off doubles at 120. We started off in the first week with I think it was a 120 single, or it was a 130 single, and some back off triples at 110. So we're making good progress there, just a little bit each week. It seems like the kind of differentiating factor working with Hank compared to me is I liked working with specific numbers a lot, and this is exactly what I need to hit, and this is what I'm going to do in this workout. And that also made me kind of prone to changes and wanting to throw things around and be, okay, let me try this instead of that. And what he's done a lot more of is you go in, you look at how the sets look, and if it's, we're hitting a single first, based on that, you pick what the weight is. And if it's lower for that week, then who cares? Or if it's the same as the last week, it doesn't matter. And if it's a good week, you go up a little bit. But, there's kind of, how should I say, the singles are always quality. It's nothing is, a grinder. He looks at what it looks like and then just says, okay, add this amount of weight. So I can completely offboard that to him, which has been great. And then he tells me what to do for my back offs. And then in those workouts, it's usually front squat first, then deadlifts up to a single off the floor, and then the accessory work, which is the block pulls, which you guys saw. So that's what I've been up to now. I think we're probably going to rotate in another accessory soon, he mentioned, but I think we'll see. In the next episode, it will be my first session wearing a belt again. We're going to see how much of a difference that makes, because historically for me, belt makes a big difference on deads, like a 20 kilo difference, maybe even more. So let's hope that throwing that on is going to give me a substantial little boost. I know that I'm already much stronger, because my PR outside of the suit with the belt on is like 250, and I've never actually pulled more than 210 or 220 without a belt. So I've now pulled the 230 completely beltless, which is great. And we'll see what the next step is from that. So I hope you guys are excited. I know I am in striking range when I'm back in shape, because my best pull in the suit was a 272. So yes, it's about 25, 30 kilos to put on, but I think it's doable. I think with a coach, spending time trying to maximize and really focus on just getting as much out of the equipment. And now that I figured out, after previously pulling with straps, that I actually pull infinitely better when I'm not wearing straps, I think that I'm very excited to see where this goes. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Stay tuned, and cheers.